In a swift motion, Kafui Danko Picture and the National Film Authority has called on all television stations to abide by the copyright laws to curb the infringement of copyright holders of film or content to be aired on their television stations. This they have made in a statement published on their Instagram page. We'll be taking a look at what they have said and whether it has the potential of curbing and copyright infringements in Ghana and the possible benefits thereof. Also, can a film made with AI win an Oscar? Well, in an article published on the BBC about a week ago, they delved into the likelihood of films made with or augmented with AI having the potential of winning an Oscar. We'll be taking a look at that article and the possible effect it's going to have on the film landscape worldwide and more. So, this is what I have for you in this 26th episode of the Film Mandate. I am Papa Otu. Stay tuned. Hi, everyone. Once again, welcome back to the Film Mandate, and I hope you had an exciting weekend. I'm sure you went to watch some movies, had some fun, and de-stressed from the tiring week of the previous week, and hopefully ready to face this week head on. So, bringing you some content this very this very episode, as usual, it's been the first Monday or the first day in the week. I want to bring to you some of the box office returns that happened over the weekend. So on your screen, I have for you the domestic box office of 2025. That is this very weekend, this past weekend. We have the domestic 2025 weekend 17, particularly of North America. And from this, we'll be looking at the international box office returns as well. We'll take a look at the top 10 and how some of the films that we love so much and have been watching are performing. So, in your number one spot, we have Sinners, which in total has grossed 122,526,000 dollars, and it looks like Warner Brothers is really having a very exciting moment at this time. Last week, when we had Sinners and Minecraft at the number one and number two positions. But in this very week, at the domestic box office in the North America, you have Star Wars Episode 3. We have Star Wars Episode 3 coming in to take the second position, and this is their re-release. And you have it's made 25,200 and 200,000 in the domestic box office, and this is just a re-release of a movie that was made about 20 years ago. How exciting is the box office? You also have The Accountant 2 by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck, also making a total of 24,492,734 dollars, and that is exciting. And this is their first week. Also at number four, dropping from number two, we have Minecraft, a Minecraft movie with a total of 379,966,661 dollars. So that is how low Minecraft has dropped two positions down to the number four position. Until Dawn, which also released this week, in total has made $8,015,000. At the number six position, you have The King of Kings, which is an animated movie about Jesus. Jesus Christ also has the box office total for 54 has made a total box office total of 54,514,364 dollars, and it dropped from the third position now to the sixth position. The Amateur, which starred Rami Malek, also has made a total of 33,855,020 in the box office, and it dropped from the fourth position down to the seventh. Warfare has made a total of 21,850,596 and it dropped from the fifth position now at the eighth position. And this is an A24 movie about the war, a section of the war in Iraq, if I'm not mistaken, by a couple of soldiers. As a matter of fact, the director is himself a soldier, and he sort of made this movie to relive the real life occurrences that happened during a time period where he and his colleagues in the army faced during that particular period. And also at the ninth position, you have Pink Floyd, Live at Pompeii. That is a 2025 re-release. And the total box office is 2,620,076 dollars. And last but not the least, based on the 10th position, we have The Legend of Ochi, which actually has moved up from the 28th position to the 10th position with a total of 1,509,628, which also is a24 movie, an A24 movie. And this happened because they increased the number of the number of theaters. They increased the number of theaters it's being screened in. So yeah, that is quite exciting for A24. Yeah, so this actually happens to be the box office returns for the domestic office of the North American market. Now let's go on to the international market and see how all these films are performing in the international territories. So I'm trying to bring it up and then we can take a look at it at the moment. On your screen, we have the following, and in the total worldwide box office for 2025, especially this week, we still have Nezatu, the animated film festival, the animated film made in China, still reigning at the number one position, and it still is grossed over $1 billion. That is, to be exact, $1.877 billion. A Minecraft movie is at number two with a total gross of 816,566,661 dollars. Captain America Brave New World is at the third position with 414,834,432 dollars. You have Snow White still in the running at 195,200,639. Sinners is at number five, and its second weekend is at number five, which has made a total of 161,626,427 dollars. You have Dogman at number six with the figure 143,257 and $355. And at number seven, you have Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy at 134,032,751. And at still a number, it's still in the running at number eight. You have Mickey 17 with a total box office of $131,847,147. And then at number nine, you have A Working Man. That is David Ayer and Jason Statham's flick at 87,414,615 dollars. And last but not least, for our top 10 list, you still have the amateur Rami Malek at $80,555,020. Yes, so for those of us who want to know how well the movies we love are performing, these are the figures for both the North American domestic box office for the weekend 17 and also the total worldwide box office, which include other movies, particularly from China, Neza 2 at number one. So it is quite an exciting time for the box office as it stands now. Yeah, so yeah, looking at that, we will now go straight ahead and delve into the major stories we have for this particular week. And bringing onto your screen, we have the NFA moving in swiftly to save the day with regards to the outcry that happened, particularly last week, where there were some filmmakers who called upon the NFA to act swiftly on how some Ghanaian television stations are taking advantage of showing their movies on their television screens without their express permission. And this has really led the National Film Authority to come straight to their help. I mean, to their help to ensure that these is stopped. And I'm excited about this because for quite some time, this thing have been ongoing, and a lot of filmmakers perhaps may not have had the opportunity to have voiced out as they should. And I'm glad that this is happening now. The NFA is taking charge to ensure that this is stopped right away. So let's take a look at what the NFA had to say concerning the the action taken. So on the official Instagram page, this is what they had to say. The National Film Authority, NFA, is committed to protecting the rights of content producers. The authority is currently collaborating closely with relevant institutions to investigate and take appropriate action against television stations that broadcast content without authorization from the right owner or right holder of the content. It goes on to say that the NFA calls on all TV broadcasters to one, regularize all content by securing appropriate licensing agreements with copyright owners. Two, respect intellectual property rights and uphold ethical broadcasting standards. Three, cooperate with the NFA to ensure all films and audiovisual content are classified before airing. Yeah. So it is exciting with these 3 pointers that they brought up. Indeed, it looks like it will help curb the what is to say they are the copyright infringement issues. The reason being that if you check the third point in particular, the third point said that cooperate with the NFA to ensure, let me bring it up on screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it says that cooperates with the NFA to ensure all films and audiovisual content are classified before airing. And if you have ever tried um, I mean, submitting your film to be classified, they inquire whether you are the copyright owner. So you would have to prove whether you are the copyright owner of the content before they can go ahead and classify. So I believe the third point can indeed help curtail some of these issues. And then, yes, that perhaps I'm sure when submitting the films to be classified, you may have to provide a copyright proof of whether you own the right to the content or not. So I think that yes, these three options or these 3 points that they brought would help in a way curb the 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 copyright infringement. That is when they submit. But maybe the NFA may have to go a step further in monitoring some of these TV stations to ensure that they don't do that. But that would be a lot of work. I don't know how that would possibly work. But then I think willingly the TV stations should help make this a possibility. And I don't know which agency or institution is in charge of monitoring every television station in Ghana, and there are quite a lot. If there is one, then maybe NFA can collaborate with them to ensure that no individual sort of infringe on the rights of copyright holders of content. Yeah, but it is still a good step in the right direction, and I'm really happy about these steps they've taken. Now let's read the letter. There's a third. Yeah. So I'd like us to read this letter that they've submitted or they've printed on their page to help us understand their actions. So, National Film Authority calls Ghanaian television stations to order over rampant copyright infringements. The National Film Authority is deeply concerned about the increasing unauthorized use and broadcast of creative content on various Ghanaian television stations. This practice violates copyright laws and threatens the integrity and sustainability of the country's creative ecosystem. In recent months, the NFA has received numerous complaints from both Ghanaian and international content owners about the illegal airing of films, series, and other creative works on traditional and digital TV platforms in Ghana. These infringements violate content creators' rights and discourage investment and creativity in Ghana's creative industries. The NFA reminds all television stations that the Copyright Act 2005, Act 690, and other applicable laws provide clear guidelines on using protected works. These laws explicitly state that any public performance or broadcast of copyrighted content without the rights holder's permission is illegal and punishable by law. As the national regulator of the film and audiovisual sector, the NFA is committed to protecting content producers' rights. To this end, the authority is working closely with relevant institutions to investigate and take appropriate actions against television stations that air content without authorization from the right owner or right holder. Offenders risk having their licenses suspended or revoked. The NFA calls on all broadcasters to regularize all content by securing appropriate licensing agreements with copyright owners, respect intellectual property rights, and uphold ethical broadcasting standards. Three, cooperate with the NFA to ensure all films and audiovisual content are classified before airing. Ghana's creative economy holds significant potential for national development, job creation, and international recognition. However, its growth depends on the protection and respect for intellectual property rights. The NFA urges all television stations and media platforms to license content legally, fairly compensate creators, and partner in building a thriving and lawful creative industry. So that is indeed exciting, I must say. Yeah, that is indeed exciting, and it is a step in the right direction. Looking at the fact that we need this thing to help build a very formidable industry. And I'm excited that it's not just one or two people, but a lot of people from the international community have contacted the NFA to ensure that this is nipped in the bud as soon as possible. And the fact that they are taking an initiative to stop this is exciting. It's exciting for a number of reasons. Then the international community can feel confident in the fact that when their content arrives at the shores of Ghana or in the country, it will be treated with the necessary respect. And then the corporates who may want to infringe on these rights will be handled or will be held accountable. And that is what we are seeking for, because if content creators all over the world can't have confidence in the Ghanaian broadcasters or media outlets, then it becomes a problem for the film industry in particular, where they cannot trust the film producers or filmmakers to be able to help solve these problems. So it is exciting that NFA has taken this initiative by ensuring that they regulate the TV stations and ensure, I mean, from airing content that they don't have the express permission to show. So I'm really excited about this initiative that has been taken. On the other end, it also helps investors have confidence in shooting movies with Ghanaians, particularly those that can be shown in Ghana, because they know that at the end of it all, if a TV station wants to air it in the country, they would definitely have to compensate fairly for the use of that film. And just as I've been saying, if these things are kept appropriately, it helps television stations to understand that the content that they are airing ought to be paid for. And in essence, it also gives even opportunity for Ghanaian content creators or filmmakers to have some form of leverage where they will be paid for their content aired on TV, and also they will have the necessary leverage to have their films to be watched in the cinemas. So now TV stations can't just show any content for free on their networks. So whilst it's in the cinemas, if individuals in the country are excited about it, they will go to the cinemas and watch it, and not be in the house hoping that it will be aired on television for free, or whichever platforms it may be on. At least individuals can go there and watch it, so that those that have monetized their content will receive the necessary funding to enable them keep on producing these content with so much love. So I'm excited about this initiative by the NFA and perhaps any other body that is involved. Kudos to them, and I'll congratulate them on these issues. My hope is that it will be enforced to the latter, because filmmakers or content creators ought to have this safety. They need to feel like when they produce content in this country, it is safe and they are protected. And that is at least the little that we can offer to them. If we can go to musical concerts and watch musicians perform and all that, and contribute to their gift and talent, we should be able to do same for content creators and filmmakers in this country and even beyond. Because once the industry thrives, it helps us all. It helps us all. And I'm excited about this. Thank you so much, Madam Kafui Dankupecha and the NFA for such an initiative. I'm so excited about it. Yeah. So, for those who may not be aware, during the Easter festivities, a big festival was held in the Ashanti region, the home of Kumawood. And even though this event was not held particularly for filmmakers, it was a general festival to celebrate the feats and the culture of Ashanti. They did take time to honor filmmakers during this very particular event, and I thought it was so very touching, considering the fact that in as much as they have so many things to celebrate, they took time not just to celebrate filmmakers, but to also honor the living filmmakers and also those who have departed from life. And in that, they took time to honor a number of these filmmakers, as you can see on the screen. And it was indeed quite touching, considering the fact that these were people who really entertained us so much. We 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 always watched their films. We could not just films but also television. We watched everything they produced for us from back in the, I mean, before I was alive, from back in the 70s, 60s, to some of them dying quite recently. And it's so sad to have some of these folks leave us. And I mean, looking at their gifts, I mean, some of them died so young, and some also quite in their latter years. But it's unfortunate that some died not because they died out of ill health and certain situations that perhaps if the necessary help were offered them, they would have lived longer. But I just want to share a few of the people they honored. You have Super OD on your screen. You also have Susie Williams, who died so young and such a talented actress. Yeah, so You also have SK upon, marvelous actors. You have a rubber stamp. I mean, that's one exciting lady, comedian, actress, very versatile. You also have Ija Into. You have Apache. I hope I had it right. You also have Kuntu Blankson, Kwame Owusu Ansa, Bishop Bernard Nyako, Bob Santo, Wache, Katare, Sugar Daddy, that is not Jordan Amate. You have Nyame Kese, that's Tutu. Yeah, and it's quite wonderful. I'm saying it's wonderful in the sense that they could have just honored filmmakers from that region, but I'm glad they extended the honoring to not just those from that region who have passed on, but also filmmakers from other parts of the country. And not just that, you had Madam Nana Hayford going to, represent her region there at the occasion, and it's such a wonderful thing that they have done. And even though it is not mainly on film, because they did this aspect, I thought no, it's worth sharing, especially the fact that they just didn't honor the dead, but they honor the living. And I'm hoping that such more of such events should be held to honor the living. We shouldn't wait till they pass on before we honor them. But it's still good that they honored those who had passed on for having brought us such happiness and excitement into our lives. So, indeed, kudos to Dr. Frank, the original minister, and all those who helped make that possible. Ashanti region have really done a good job in honoring filmmakers, and I'm so proud to be a Ghanaian and also to have Ashantis be part of us. It's such an honor and a privilege, honestly, for what they did for these, what they have done for these filmmakers. It's indeed a good thing, and I think the way the rate at which this festival is going, I'm sure it's going to be far bigger than ever before. I mean, they held these events at the Golden Eagle Cinema at the Kumasi Mall. Yeah, so the cinema there, that's where they held this event, and it brought a lot of filmmakers together and also the people from the region to be there to support. So yeah, it is exciting, and I'm happy that filmmakers are not being left out from these events. Yeah, they're not being left out from these events. So with that, I would like us now to move to our second story. Our second story. In this day and age, it looks like we cannot do without AI, considering the fact that AI has become part and parcel of our lives now, that there is nothing it's like you can't escape AI. You can't escape AI. And for those who observe the Oscars, this very past Oscars, there was the debate and contention as to whether Adrian Brody, the actor that won the Best Male Oscar, whether he should actually even have been nominated in the first place. For those who have watched the film The Brutalist, which got him the opportunity to be nominated and win his second win, it was said that his accent, the filmmakers had to use AI to touch his accent a little bit to help him have the right accent from the very region where the character he played originates from. So there were a lot of contention going back and forth, but regardless, he still won the award. And now it looks like films made with AI can win Oscars, the Academy says. So I would like us to read this article published on the BBC website, written by Liv McMahon, a technology reporter. Now, films made with the help of artificial intelligence (AI) will be able to win top awards at the Oscars. According to its organizers, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences issued new rules on Monday, which said the use of AI and other digital tools would neither help nor harm the chances of achieving a nomination. Generative AI, which can create text, images, audio, and video in response to simple text prompts, helped to produce some of the films awarded top industry accolades in March. But the Academy said it would still consider human involvement when selecting its winners. The Academy said its new language around eligibility for films made using generative AI tools was recommended by its Science and Technology Council. Under further rule changes announced on Monday, Academy members must now watch all nominated films in each category in order to be able to take part in the final round of voting, which decides upon winners. The use of AI in film became a hot topic, and after Adrian Brody took home the award for Best Actor for his role in The Brutalist at this year's Oscar ceremony in March. The movie used generative AI to improve the actor's accent when he spoke Hungarian. It then emerged similar voice cloning technology was used to enhance singing voices in the Oscar-winning musical Emilia Perez. The technology's ability to quickly alter or match the tone and style of an artist or perform edits such as subtly changing someone's appearance has helped it become more popular in the production of music and film. But AI use remains controversial, and artists and actors have voiced concerns over the material used to train such tools and its impact upon their livelihoods. Concerns and limitations. Actors and screenwriters previously highlighted fears about losing work to AI during the 2023 strikes in Hollywood. If you can take my face, my body, and my voice and make me say or do something that I had no choice about, that's not a good thing. Actress Susan Sarandon told the BBC from a picket line. And screenwriters are concerned studios would seek to cut costs and save time by using tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT for tasks such as researching, treatment, script writing instead of humans. Safeguards around the use of AI were established as part of the agreements reached between unions and studios that marked the end of the strikes. But while some actors have seemingly embraced the technology, others, such as Scarlett Johansson, have issued warnings about its potential to allow abuse of their image or likeness. Animators told the BBC in 2024 generative AI tools were not yet good enough to be able to replicate the quality of their work. Certainly not to an award-winning standard. It's like having a bad writer help you, said Jonathan Kendrick, co-founder and chairman of global streaming service Rocket Flix. Sure, it will get an outline done, but if you need something with emotional weight, an AI isn't going to get you an Oscar. Yeah. So interesting times that we live in. Interesting times because for those who followed the news in 2023, particularly when the guilds in America were fighting against the use of AI in the creative space, the studios agreed, particularly with the film industry, they agreed. But now the Academy is saying that films made with AI can win an Oscar. The question is, to what extent should AI be used? I mean, is there a percentage to it? Is there a definition as to whether the the question now becomes, if someone uses AI entirely for his film, can it still be nominated, into an Oscar or just perhaps a percentage of it? So these are things that are not so clear as to the extent of the use of AI in film. I know in the article it stated that it will consider or perhaps may give preference to human involvement. So it means that And even the definition of human involvement, which aspect is it behind or in front of the screen? As of now, we are not so clear on it. Perhaps getting to the next Oscars award ceremony, there will be clear outlines as to what it means to use AI for a film that would stand the potential of being nominated. So it's quite an exciting time as to this particular thing. I don't know what may be the backlash, whether there's going to be backlash or filmmakers may embrace it. To an extent, it may help filmmakers who may not have the requisite resources to produce such quality movie as they would with human hands. I mean, filling all the departments. So in that case, it may help. But then it also comes back to the same issue of what the guilds and the IATSE in America were fighting for, that it's likely that the use of AI may take their jobs. So now that the Oscars or the Academy has accepted to nominate films made with AI to the Oscars, what then becomes of the strike that they had to make sure that AI doesn't, studios who are supposed to fund and help show up create jobs for these technical men and even actors on screen, that their jobs are not taken away from them. Are they now going to go about making films with AI? So those are questions that need clear answers in regards to this article. And I know, yes, there are film festivals, or perhaps there will be film festivals where the use of AI is permissible, whether you want to do a full film made with AI or you want to augment with AI. But for a prestigious award ceremony like the Oscars, perhaps there needs to be a clear definition as to what extent of the AI being used is permissible. Which amount of the use of AI is permissible for the Oscars or for a film to be nominated into the Oscars. So those are things that perhaps need much clarification on. And as to how this is going to change the landscape, it's going to be quite exciting, because then if it means that if AI can do a better job than what a human can do, what does it mean? Does it mean that studios or independent film companies and or independent filmmakers may choose to use AI instead of humans? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debates around this, because the hallmark of achievements for a lot of filmmakers or film industries worldwide is to have one's film nominated into the Oscars. So now that it's permissible for films with AI to be nominated into the Oscars, potentially to be nominated into the Oscars, what does it mean for the film landscape worldwide? Does it going to open a floodgate where now people may not necessarily be very creative out of their own thoughts and rely heavily on AI, or others would have a clear balance of what they think about and how AI also can augment to make it work. So, indeed, this article or this action by the Academy, I'm sure, is going to keep the conversation going, open a floodgates of debate as to whether it's right or not, and a whole lot. So it's going to be an interesting weeks, going forward, especially when we are heading towards the next Oscar race. It's going to be really exciting, especially how whether filmmakers will clearly declare which aspects of their films were involved AI usage. So it's going to be quite exciting, because even for the little that they did with Adrian Brody's accent, there was a lot of debate as to whether it ought to be nominated or not, or he ought to be nominated or not. So I'm really looking forward to most of these discussions that will be ongoing. And as usual, when I see them, I'm going to bring it to you, my audience, and let's have a conversation about it ourselves. So I would like you to leave your comments in the comment section below, your thoughts on these stories that I've shared with you. It is quite exciting times, from NFA trying to curb, I mean, doing their best to curb the copyright infringement in Ghana to now the Oscars accepting films made with AI or possibly going to nominate accept films made with AI. It's quite an interesting time indeed. Anyway, so I'm excited for you joining me for this very episode of the Film Mandate, episode 26. I am Papa O2, and I'm going to see you tomorrow.